Our first act is Beat Settin' Home. They have been at this for 21 years, ladies and gentlemen, ever since the winter of '81. We've got Alan, we've got Jim, we've got Bear.
Well, we don't want it.
And these guys are nominated for their CD, Down the Road. They've been influenced by the folk music of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And you can catch these guys at the wondrous Arts Jam at the Wealthy Street Theater, helping out the public school system on Sunday, February 10th. That's when you can catch them next. Give it up for Beats Settin' Home.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening, Grand Rapids. Well, as the opening act for this auspicious occasion, Beats Settin' Home huddled, and we decided that since this is a very Michigan event, we want to pull from our proud Michigan heritage. And so, we chose our next number accordingly to that sentiment. Jim, would you tell them?
Rose Hartwick Thorpe penned her dramatic ballad, Curfew Shall Not Ring Tonight, at the tender age of 15 years in 1865 in Litchfield, Michigan. Her Longfellow-esque trochaic heptameters became a staple of 19th century declamatory entertainments. The scene, the setting, the plot is this. Our heroine's father is to be executed at dusk when the curfew bell rings out from the steeple. Nellie rushes up to the belfry before the sexton can ring the fatal curfew bell. She has reached the topmost ladder, o'er her hangs the great dark bell. Awful is the gloom beneath her, like the pathway down to hell. Lo, the ponderous tongue is swinging, 'tis the hour of curfew now, and the sight has chilled her bosom, stopped her breath, and paled her brow. Shall she let it ring?
No, never!
Flash her eyes with sudden light, as she leaps and clasps it firmly. Curfew shall not ring tonight. The scene was in the jailhouse, and when curfew rang that night, the guy in number 13 cell would go out like a light. She knew her dad was innocent, and so poor little Nell tied her tender torso to the clapper of the bell. Hang on the bell, Nellie, hang on the bell. Your poor father's locked in the old prison cell. As you swing to the left and you swing to the right, remember that curfew must never ring tonight. It all began when Nellie said no, no to Handsome Jack and tried to save her virtue down by the railroad track. Daddy came a-running as the train sped down the line. Jack fell back across the track and paid the price of crime. Hang on the bell, Nellie, hang on the bell. Your poor father's locked in the old prison cell. As you swing to the left and you swing to the right, remember that curfew must never ring tonight. Why, thank you very much. Dear Daddy was arrested and brought before the law. The policeman said,
Old Handsome Jack ain't handsome anymore.
Nellie begged and pleaded, but the jury did not care. They didn't have a sofa, so they offered him the chair. Hang on the bell, Nellie, hang on the bell. Your poor father's locked in the old prison cell. As you swing to the left and you swing to the right, remember that curfew must never ring tonight. They pulled down on the bell rope, but there was no ting-a-ling. They could not get the job done, the curfew would not ring. With her face she blocked the bell, while below they tugged and heaved, when suddenly a voice cried,
Stop! The geezer's been reprieved!
hang on the bell, Nellie, hang on the bell. Your poor father's locked in the old prison cell. As you swing to the left and you swing to the right, remember the curfew must never ring tonight. Nell had blocked the bell from ringing with her tender, tearful face. Each time they had pulled the rope, it smacked her like a mace. One sexton asked who was that maid. I do not know her well.
I can't recall her name, but her face sure rings a bell.
Hang on the bell, Nellie, hang on the bell. Your poor father's locked in the old prison cell. As you swing to the left and you swing to the right, remember that curfew must never ring tonight. They untied her from the clapper and laid her on the ground. Then she softly spoke as she came around.
She said, look, I tried to save my daddy, and that's a good and noble thing. But still, while I was up there, man, I learned it's fun to swing.
Hang on the bell, Nellie, hang on the bell. Your poor father's locked in the old prison cell. As you swing to the left and you swing to the right, remember that curfew must never ring tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That's actually dedicated to Joe Hickerson, who's the co-author of Where Have All the Flowers Gone. We had the pleasure of playing with him last year at our CD release party. And it's a favorite of his, and he taught it to us, and we added a few BSH turns of a trick on it as well. Alan?
Okay, this next song is legitimately serious. It's written by one of the finest songwriters we know, and someone who's been an influence on us all as folk singers for a long, long time. The great Tom Paxton. He says this is the best love song he ever wrote. He wrote it for his wife. Tell the rose not to bloom, a tree to grow. Tell the sun not to shine, a stream to flow. Tell the high summer sky to lose its blue. But don't tell me I don't belong with you.
You could send me away and I would go. I would go, but I would not go too far. You could send me home, but you would know. Home for me is anywhere you are.
When we first met, there was nothing to decide. There was simply something happening inside. I felt strange for a minute, then I knew. I finally felt complete when I found you.
You could send me away and I would go. I would go, but I would not go too far. You could send me home, but you would know. Home for me is anywhere you are.
There are those who really do not know their mind. They're confused and they're not the staying kind. They don't know what they're really looking for. I don't suffer from that problem anymore.
You could send me away and I would go. I would go, but I would not go too far. You could send me home, but you would know. Home for me is anywhere you are. You could send me home, but you would know. Home for me is anywhere you are.
Affirmative. Thank you very much.